The father who killed his 6 children in a deliberate house fire will hear his sentence tomorrow. As a court heard, he was out on bail for a violent road rage incident at the time. An appalling, extraordinary crime by any standards, but Mick Philpott, whose chaotic lifestyle on benefits became a feature on daytime television, is now being used by some tabloids as proof of how flawed the welfare system is. Coming in the middle of the biggest benefit reforms in a generation, it's evidence of just how bitter the debate has become. Here's our social affairs editor, Jackie Long.
Described by his defence this morning as a loving father, Mick Philpott is to be sentenced tomorrow for the manslaughter of 6 of his children. He became notorious for revelling in his unorthodox lifestyle. 2 women, 17 children, but no work. This, one of his many appearances on reality TV.
Get a job. I'm looking after my kids.
Get a job.
Listen, this shows you what a you are, doesn't it?
But is Mick Philpott someone who's carried out an extraordinary and appalling crime? Or is he an illustration of what's gone wrong with the benefit system? Some think he is. Today's Daily Mail described him as someone who embodies everything that is wrong with the welfare state.
Well, what he embodied was laziness, the fact that the state let him get away with it, the fact that he could use his children as meal tickets, but the actual wickedness of setting fire to a house in order to frame somebody else and then killing 6 children in the process, that is not the benefit system.
This is a sign of just how divisive the discussion around benefits has become. And language has been a crucial tool in the politics of all this. The debate framed around skivers versus strivers. The government has recently dropped the skivers tag, but its message remains clear. This is about notions of the deserving and the undeserving poor, in a way that might have made the Victorians proud. At a Morrisons depot yesterday, the Chancellor insisted the benefit reforms had to make things better for the hard workers.
Now, those who defend the current benefit system are going to complain loudly. These vested interests always complain, with depressingly predictable outrage.
On the streets of South London, it strikes a chord, but sometimes depends on what your follow-up question is.
If they're not actually ill or they're not sick, do you know what I mean? They should have to do something for some sort of money.
There's not a lot of jobs out there. The jobs people are applying for, no one's getting back. It's really demoralising for the people coming in. But I've also seen my fair share of lazy people who just don't want to work.
And George Osborne is quite clear that the benefit system ought to work in fairness to those people who get up in the morning and go out to work.
Yeah, of course it should do, yeah.
But what about people who can't find work?
There is that, yeah. That's not something I actually thought about before this.
So who are the vested interests George Osborne is talking about? Well, a Treasury source described them as the critics, commentators and pressure groups who aren't in receipt of benefits themselves, but fill up endless column inches in the newspapers with their knee-jerk reactions to any talk of change. In recent days, of course, the critics have included the churches and many established charities. Does Mr. Osborne mean them? Well, he doesn't want to mention any names, the source said. But this pressure group, although not named by Mr. Osborne, says it's not change itself they take issue with, but the effect of those changes.
We're an important charity that we just feel it's important to do our job, and that's getting the facts out there.
But isn't part of the problem of your argument is that people support the caps? People support the reforms?
Well, there's been a lot of myth-making, and people believe, for example, that people don't want jobs or that there's massive fraud in the system, when nothing could be further from the case.
With more reforms throughout April and into the rest of the year, the bitter debate about benefits will not easily be brought to an end.
Jackie Long reporting. Now, we'll be talking to the Disability Minister, Esther McVey, about some of those issues around welfare reform in a moment.